Hey everybody, what's going on? Tim Eister here, and welcome back to Gasparilla. This episode is going to be pretty unique as I am going to be building a classic gated neighborhood in this section of town right over here. But it's not going to be any plain old boring neighborhood like a lot of gated communities are. It's going to be featuring a golf course in between all of the houses. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm going to be making use of a lot of mods that I've recently installed, mods that will allow me to place all kinds of textures and props and all kinds of details. So I'm going to be going a little bit deeper into the detailing in this episode than what I usually do in Cities Skylines 2 so far. So jumping right into this build, similarly to a lot of gated neighborhoods in Florida, there is one single entrance for an entire neighborhood. So very, very card dependent, very typical of these style neighborhoods in Florida. And what I'm using as inspiration in this build is not one particular area, but rather a ton of neighborhoods in Florida. There are tons and tons of these kinds of gated neighborhoods around Florida. So, I mean, if you're looking to build something similar to this, you have plenty of choice. Because, you know, I never really realized until I took a look at Google Maps today. And, yeah, it just stood out to me just how many of these neighborhoods are around the Sarasota area and, I mean, Florida as a whole. It's crazy. So, I guess there's a lot of golf fans in Florida. But I guess that's just gonna be the case, right? When a lot of retirees choose to come to Florida, you know. So, anyways, like I said, this neighborhood's gonna be totally card dependent, but it's going to be a nice neighborhood too. I didn't really like the way I made that road layout, and I don't even know why I didn't make use of the parallel road tools. Sometimes I forget that we have all these wonderful tools in Cities Skylines 2 that make our lives just a little bit easier. So yeah, that's going to be much better. I can make my curves just much smoother. Perfect. So this is sort of going to be the main road out of the gated neighborhood. It's going to be just a simple one-way going in this direction. And then, you know, I'm kind of using one particular neighborhood near Sarasota as inspiration. I just have Google Maps open on my second monitor, and I'm basically just following along here, trying to create something that's somewhat similar. But sometimes it's easier said than done with these builds. And one thing I did notice is a lot of these neighborhoods have like very unconventional road layouts comparatively to, you know, their surrounding areas. So this neighborhood is going to be quite similar to that. There. But yeah, as with any other neighborhood that I've ever built in this game, I usually start with the road layout. But I think in this case, I'm going to want to do some terraforming first, because as I'm looking at Google Maps, most of these golf courses and a lot of neighborhoods throughout Florida have like all these little canal and pond systems that go through them. So I'm looking at this little inlet here. I think I'm going to continue this on straight ahead and then build like a canal system that goes throughout this new neighborhood that I'm about to build. So let's get into that. This is probably going to be a little challenging, but I'm going to try my best here. I've never really built anything like this. However, the last canal sort of build that I built not too long ago, it turned out pretty good. So I want this canal to end up going like pretty much perfectly east to west. Oh, nice. Okay, I can pretty much just follow the lines here. Oh, that's a deep canal. Oh, this might be a little challenging, guys. I might have to go into time-lapse mode a few times here throughout this canal build, because the terrain is not really even throughout this this whole area. But I'm just gonna start off here. Yeah, so as you can see, the terrain is slowly sloping its way down to the coast. So I'll have to try to make like a smooth transition from sea level up to, you know, where I want to be. But first, let me remove a bunch of these trees. There, so the canal is going to go through here. It's going to go straight like this, and then it's going to probably make like a 45-degree angle to go out to the main bay, or whatever body of water this is. It would probably be like the Bay of Gasparilla. I think that's actually a real bay in Florida. There, so I guess I'll just continue this like so, and looks like it's gonna meet up here. Actually, I probably should have sent it a bit farther. Here, let's do this. All right, guys, so I've got my canal system laid out, all my streets laid out. Now the next step is going to be laying down some residential zones. But actually, before I do that, I want to go into my signature buildings. And there's a couple of big mansions here that we can place down. Now, I'm looking at a very specific gated neighborhood near the Sarasota area, and of course we can't forget a clubhouse for the golf course. So honestly, oh yeah, that looks great there. Let me just check out the European ones. I'm just curious. Okay, yeah, so they're like sort of villa style. Oh, that's small. Let's see, so we got like a smaller building here, medium sized, and then a large building. I'm gonna go ahead with this one here. So I guess this one looks kind of like a clubhouse. It could pass as a golf course clubhouse. So let's go ahead with that. Now, let's put a parking lot right here just across the street to provide parking to all of the golfers. And now let's start with the zoning. Now here, I'm gonna make an effort to have like all different sizes of houses, just because I don't want every single house to be like a massive mansion, because then you're just asking for problems. Oh, whoa, what's going on here? Oh, shoot. That's right, this is a highway. So there's no electricity or water running beneath it, but for electricity at the very least, that can easily be fixed by adding some street lights along the main path here. So let's go ahead and do this, and then do this. So at least we'll provide lighting for these people as well as electricity. And then let's do the same with some water pipes. So I'm just gonna run this right through the middle of the median, and I'll connect this up over here. There, so let's hit play. And boom, there we go. All of our problems are solved. So let's keep going with the zoning. So this will be a little bit of a test as well, guys. It's going to be a test to see how my residential demand is going to hold up. It is dropping a little bit as I'm zoning all of these homes, but I'm surprised that it hasn't dropped all the way down to 0 yet. It might by the time we're done this entire neighborhood, but it might not. It might be okay. There, so essentially what I'm doing here is I'm gonna zone houses on both sides of this little street here, but I want to leave enough room for a golf course green, right? I gotta be mindful and remember that there is a golf course that will be in between all of these homes. There, and I'm gonna leave this area open. Maybe a little golf green here. You know what? Actually, let's have a park. Can't forget to have some parks around this area. Let's have like a small plaza over here. Let's have maybe a tennis court as well. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice there. There, let's plop maybe a nature park. Nature park over here. And then another small park over here. There, we want plenty of amenities for this gated neighborhood. All right, so let's keep going here. I think I'm just gonna like blanket zone this entire area over here. Actually, you know what I could do to give myself a little bit more room is I'll build a path that goes all along the side, probably to maybe about here. There, let's connect that up. Oh crap, I just destroyed that zone. Can I salvage it? Yep, cool. There, you know what? With this being a beautiful, posh neighborhood, let's have a intricate trail system going all throughout this whole area. I'll try to work on that. There, so I think I'm gonna make a golf course here, but actually, you know what? I'm gonna move this tennis court. Yeah, because I don't want it to be in the way of the golf course, so I'll just build it over here. What else? I think there was skate park. No. Outdoor gym. I suppose we could have an outdoor gym. And just another tennis court. Why not? There. That looks wonderful, guys. How am I doing for park maintenance? I gotta make sure that I've got enough park maintenance buildings. So I have one over here in our public works area, but I have a ton of parks here in town. I probably have like more than enough. It's probably costing me a lot of money to maintain all of these parks, but I'll just keep things status quo for now. There, so no houses are gonna go in the middle here. Gonna build some more houses throughout here. So as I'm zoning all of these houses, what I'm trying to do is leave enough room for there to be a golf course in between all of these residences here. Now it's going to be a little bit of a challenge because, well, you know, some areas look like they really don't have much room between the roads and the little rivers and creeks that I created. So I don't know how I'm going to build the golf course, but we'll figure it out as we go. All right, so now that all the houses are laid down, I'm ready to get started on the actual golf courses. But before I began anything, this was my first time building a golf course in Cities Skylines 2, so I had to do a little bit of testing to see how these textures behaved. So using the Find It mod, you're actually able to place everything in the game, such as props, textures, buildings, whatever you name it, it can be found in this mod. So it really replaces the need for using dev mode. So thankfully this mod is a little bit more intuitive than dev mode, and it just works a bit better. So I'm happy that that mod came out at around the time that I was building this golf course, so it's really cool. The only thing I had to do really is I had to figure out how the textures behaved with one another, because obviously in a golf course you have sand traps, you have the green, you have like the putting green, all those parts. So what I figured out is I just had to use Anarchy to be able to stack these textures one on top of each other, and surprisingly it works great. There's no flickering, there's no weirdness. I mean, as you can see, I'm layering a bunch of textures on top of each other, and it seems to be working just all right. So yeah. Now, disclaimer, I know nothing about golf courses. I played golf maybe twice in my life, and I was absolutely terrible at it. But, you know, having gone to a golf course a couple of times, and having spent a lot of time looking at golf courses on Google Maps, I have a decent idea, I would say, on how they look. Now, the only thing is, I don't really know how these types of golf courses work when they're surrounded by neighborhoods. So I know that there's like different types of golf courses. You have like 9 holes and 18 holes. However, looking on Google Maps, it looks like these neighborhoods that are surrounded by golf courses often have more holes. So I don't know, maybe they just provide golf greens for like all of the residents who live around them. I'm not really familiar with the way these types of golf courses work. Just if somebody knows in the comments, please shed some light. But yeah, I'm just gonna basically fill in all of this empty space with different golf courses of all shapes and sizes. And yeah, as far as like what is a par 2 versus a par 3, I have no idea. I don't know like what a golf course should, like how it should function. But as far as the general look, I think I can create something that's pretty good here. So for the next little while, I'm really going to focus on building the actual course, and then later in this episode, I'm going to focus on detailing around all of these golf courses. All right, so at this point, I completed a couple of test holes, meaning that I pretty much built, you know, the fairway, the putting greens, sandbanks, everything on just a couple of holes when I started out this golf course. And those were a test because, after all, it is the very first golf course that I'm building in Cities Skylines 2, so I didn't really know what to expect. But I'm pretty satisfied with the results that I got on those first couple of holes. So what I then did is I basically built the fairways for all of the other holes. And I'm going to detail them in a little bit here. But what I want to work on for just a moment is these little roads that will connect up all of these holes, right? It's going to connect all of the golf course together. And there's no real rhyme or reason behind this. I'm just laying down a bunch of little pedestrian paths to connect up the whole golf course together. And yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But in just a moment here, once I'm done these paths, I'm going to go over all of these holes once again. And I'm going to properly detail them by adding sandbanks, you know, the putting greens, all of those little things that are pretty important in a golf course. And then at the very end of this episode, I'm going to be building all of the final touches, all of the trees and bushes and whatnot that are going to surround this entire neighborhood. And like I explained in the beginning of this episode, I'm just using the Find It mod in order to find these different grass textures, which I can then plop on top of each other, which by using the Anarchy mod, it just works. It's super cool. There's no clipping, there's no weird glitching or artifacts or anything like that. It just works. So I'm gonna go over all of the holes that I didn't complete, and I'm going to add those final touches. And then it should really start to look like a proper golf course. Now this wouldn't be a gated community without a gate. So using the Find It tool, I was able to find this really nice European style wall that I'm going to surround this entire neighborhood with. And what I'm using here to plop down this wall is the Prop Line tool, I believe. It essentially just allows you to plop any prop or anything in the game in a fence mode. So you can just line up a bunch of props together, and it just works very well for a fence. And in the front here, I'm going to add a couple of toll booths to only allow the proper residents into the gated community, or visitors, I guess. But normally in front of these gated communities, these private communities, there's always some toll booths at the front. And now the final touch on this entire golf course, I'm going to be plopping down the actual flag poles at each hole. So I found some little tiny flag poles, I believe. They're barely visible unless you zoom right in, but I'm going to be plopping one inside of each putting green. And, you know, just minor details, right? It all counts. And now the final step in this whole project is to plop down some trees and bushes to fill in all of the empty space. All right, guys, here it is. Here is the final result of the golf course. Sorry, it's a little dark right now. It randomly got cloudy here over the town, but this is what it looks like, and I'm super excited about this neighborhood. I'm really liking this. It's my first time building a golf course in Cities Skylines 2, on top of, like, it's my first time building this type of neighborhood filled in with lakes and ponds and canals and all that kind of stuff. And I think it came out beautifully, and I hope you guys think the same way. So if I zoom out here, let's try to stay away from the clouds. You can see how this neighborhood fits into the surrounding area. I think it fits in absolutely perfect. So yeah, I'm just really excited about how this neighborhood turned out. And there's going to be more neighborhoods like this as I expand on this map, because eventually, like, all of this surrounding area is going to be, you know, the classic Floridian style suburbs, just like you're seeing right now. So there's plenty of more of this to come in the near future. So I guess the very last thing to do is to actually make this into a proper... Oh, why is this not working here? Specialize... Oh, district creation tool. Okay. I just got confused there for a second. But yeah, as I was going to say, the last thing to do in this project is to build an actual gated community. So I'm just going to surround this entire neighborhood. There we go. So this is Willow Terrace. How about we call this like Willow Springs? There, I think that's more appropriate. And then let's check through our policies here. Gated communities. So what does this even do? Only people living or working within the district are allowed in. This increases the well-being of the residents and reduces crime in the area. Does not affect city services. Boom. There we go. Uh-oh, we're already dealing with some abandonment here. And some crime. Oh my god. Things are off to a rough start here in the new neighborhood. But I think... Okay, yeah, all of this abandonment that's going on is just due to some zoning changes. So as I was plopping some of the trees and whatnot in this area, I think I may have had anarchy mode enabled, which kind of messed up the zoning. But that's okay. These houses will rebuild in no time because my demand is sky high right now. And actually my demand for everything is maxed out right now except offices, but I mean this is still a small town, so we won't have any offices for the next little while probably. Oh yeah, wow, these zones really got messed up. Oh, oops. My bad, I was plopping some regular homes. That's why they're not building. There. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo these zones here. And I think another policy I would like to enable here, guys, is speed bumps. So this is going to reduce the traffic speed going through this neighborhood, but it decreases the chance of accidents happening, and it decreases noise pollution as well. So all good things when you're living in a quiet golf neighborhood. So guys, that is going to be it for this episode. I encourage you to stick around just another moment because there's some awesome cinematics coming up in just a moment here. But yeah, really, really pleased with this build. I had a ton of fun making it, and there's going to be a lot more like this coming down the pipe as I expand on this map. So guys, thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, consider giving it a like, drop a comment down below, and certainly don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get notified of future uploads. Again, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.